This conference will now be recorded.
Can you able to see my screen, people?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, we can.
Yeah. So on the day zero, I'm just giving a glance on what we discussed in the earlier couple of classes. So on the day zero, we discussed what is manual testing, and under the manual testing, how do we address steps on creating test cases. So if there is any scenario, how we'll be writing the scenario for positive and also the negative scenarios in the view of test cases, and we achieved that. And after that, how is it very relevant to the automation. And on the day zero we also discussed about automation key points, and how we are going to implement the roadmap, and the steps, uh, where do we stand and where do we end up in automation class of this Python. We discussed it on day zero. And on the day one we started with Python. So Python, on the basis of again setting up environment. Later on, we discussed how to run in the local. So we have also ran the scripts in the local, and also we used PyCharm, how to install PyCharm or VS Code. But currently right now we are using an online compiler, which is an easiest version to execute the scripts. So we also discussed on the Python scale, integer strings, and also the basic functionalities of everything, arithmetic commands, and also the assignment commands, and also the comparison commands, meaning logical commands and an or. So these things we have like fully achieved on the day one. On the day two we are going to start with the conditions. So we discussed if conditions on the day one, but like I will just give you a recap on that, and we'll be continuing on these topics. So today we are going to discuss the main things of conditions, and also the loops, and also the list dictionaries, and which are basically related to arrays. And we'll also see some couple of funny examples, and also some of the codes. Yep, let's start with the conditions. So condition, again, if we speak of conditions, anything that is conditionally based executions, we'll be using if else and elif statements. Sorry. So these three are the main methodologies that can be used for decision making. So here is an example for that. So basically for the balance, what we are checking is here, on the balance as an variable, we are assigning a value, the integer. So we are taking an integer out input from the local, I mean, like, dynamically. Let me give you a glance on what is static and what is dynamic. So if you are giving a value on the number itself, so let's say bal equal to 500, something like this. On the pre-head we are like declaring the value of this variable called bal as 500. This is called static. Static meaning, again, you cannot change the values in the space of execution. That is static value. So let me execute this. I'm commenting out the sixth line. So basically, the BAL, the integer, what we are dynamically passing, I'm like commenting it out by hash, and I'm just running this. You can see the output. So the low balance and it's below 5,000. Thank you. So we discussed this on that day. So the indentation plays a key role here. So the spacing, placing print statement of thank you of indentation in the line of if, so it is got executed as default. Conditionally these two are the print statement that are gone for the if condition. So the static element of BAL is 500. So yeah, it directly just says whatever the values have been here have been executed. So on the space of execution you cannot change the value. So how many times you run, the value will be constant, the output will be very constant. That's the static value of BAL. So let's remove this. I'm just commenting it out, and I'm just changing the BL as an dynamic value. In the dynamic space, you if you run it in the output space, it will ask for your input. So I'm just giving 6,000, something like that. So if I click on enter, so it says thank you. So for this condition, it is true. So it just skip this condition and it went directly to the print statement. So this is the output. You could clearly see, and if I run it again it will ask for the your input in the output screen. So I'm just giving 5,000. Let's say click enter, and it is equal, and so it's executed with the thank you. And we'll be seeing another example which is equivalent same, and I'm just running it again. So here if I give 5,000, if I click enter, so it says it's 5,000, thank you. So here we are using elif statement as a mid comprehend of condition. So the balance is 5,000, so equal to balance is 5,000. So we are printing only it's 5,000. So else other conditions got discluded. The So balance of some dynamic value, if we are giving in the output screen, so that is conditionally based statements, so we are executing like. So I think you got my point of dynamic and static values of if conditions and if conditions, how we can use if conditions in different scenarios. And we'll be also seeing one example here. So, we'll be just trying to do some PEMDAS conditions. So basically, we have arithmetic operations, okay, plus subtraction and dividend, and also the multiplication and subtraction. So before we saw what is static elements and also the dynamic elements. Here we are just using the static elements. So and also we are passing the elements as in the type of list. So a comma b comma c comma d comma d comma e comma f is equals to 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5 comma 6 comma 7. So where here the values will be getting assigned to the as is like a equal to 2 and b equal to 3 and c equals to 4, such a way. And we are printing in the arithmetic logic. So here a plus b into c divided by d, and multiplication of double multiplication of e minus f, and we are closing the bracket. And a again we are changing the values to a comma b comma c values are like 4 to 6. Again we are printing something like this. Okay, so what's happening here? So basically we have some conditions called like so in the basic mathematical knowledge, if we are giving multiple methods, multiple functions such as multiplication, subtraction, and brackets, something like that, at the same time, it will always follow the PEMDAS conditions. PEMDAS rule, basically a PEMDAS rule. P, percentile, and E. So within these PEMDAS conditions, it will execute. I mean, like so. The execution will happen on the rule of PEMDAS. So P, meaning parentheses which are in the brackets or else in the square brackets, or such a we have whatever we define in the parentheses will execute first. And next point is exponentials. Whatever we design in the static space or else in the dynamic space, however we are defining in the exponential value, it will execute in the second space. And after that it is multiplication, it is division and addition and subtraction. So if you see this condition, here we have having parentheses. So these are the first thing that will be calculated first. So let's just say, I'm just adding this. First it will happen e minus f, because it is in the exponential sorry, parenthesis. So what is e? E is e and f 6 minus 7. It's basically gonna be minus 1, and later on it will go with the multiplication. So d into something whatever we are having in the minus 1. So d value is 5. So whatever the condition is happening here, it is getting placed. Let's do one thing. Okay, we are in the output screen. So I'm just defining output equal to whatever the condition we have having. I put here, and I'm just printing output. So let's run this. Okay, we are printing two statements. What's happening here is, basically we are doing yeah, three. I'm going with the flow. So basically PEMDAS P is in parenthesis e minus f is happened. So e minus f 6 minus 7 equals to minus 1. Minus 1 is multiplied with the value of d. D is 5, and 5 is multiplied with minus 1, basically the same, and it got divided with the c, which is 3, 4, which is 4 basically, and so output of that version is 62 point something like some 62.0, and after that I'm changing the value of a b c equals to 4 to 6, and printing a minus c plus d equals to again 0. So basically first c plus d is happening because of the PEMDAS rule. Addition is first, and c plus d is what? C plus d, sorry, c plus b. So c plus b is 6 plus 2, 8. 8 minus 4 should be 4, right? Okay, in the parenthesis, this is in the parenthesis. Okay, so and the second thing, we are finding the area of circle. Here a equal to integer of input in meters. Basically I'm just giving it in a dynamic state. I'm just giving the value of such as 15 in the output input in meters. So it's just converting into centimeters. So into centimeters is basically a is into 100. So we are finding area of circle. The it is asking for radius. If the radius of circle is be 15, and the radius of circle would be 706.5. So basically the pi value we are defining it dynamically, sorry, statically. Pi equals to 3.14, while printing pi into area of area. Basically the circle area of circle is pi square of radius. So that is the value. So this is just an precedence formula basically. And just need just a logical question. So if we are using some arithmetic conditions all at the same time, the rule that takes is PEMDAS. And also if you want to do any arithmetic mathematical logicals like finding areas or else parameters and the length and breadth of everything which are very relevant to math, will there will be like inbuilt packages or inbuilt functionalities that are involved in Python. So we can directly execute like this. We are just going to another one. So here in the space of again if conditions, so here we are checking with the eligibility of oath basically. So if the eligibility of for oath is, the logic is the voting category is always above 18, let's say. So how do you write a code for that? So you know this condition basically. And if you want to execute in a Python script, how do you write it? So basically take a variable of age and put some value, integer value dynamically into the age. And if your age is greater than or equal to 18, print that eligible for voting, else print not eligible for voting. So this is like very easiest configuration that can you can do for any condition. Sorry. Yeah. So if you just run it, I'm just giving the value of like 16, and if I'm just typing it, so it says not eligible for voting. So this is a real life example. Such a way we have lot of examples like in daily cases, in your bank statements, if you are checking something value of your something like balance, which if that is low balance and high balance, that will be calculating on these conditions itself. So you will be also having something very same like for licenses. So you could write a code for that. So this is for license, and try to write something like this. Okay, now we are skipping this because vote and license would be the same. So here we are using elif statements again. So a equal to abcde, we are dynamically passing some five subject names, five subject percentages basically, and value. So example of a person, a student getting five subjects and he's having some 5 marks, and you're calculating percentage. And if the percentage is greater than or equal to 60, is getting grade A. And the percentage if is equal to 50 is B grade. And percentage if it is equal to 40 is C grade, and equal to and like less than 40 is basically D grade. So there are like conditions here. Understand the condition statement. In this condition basically you are having multiple if statements. So there are multiple conditions. You need to configure with multiple conditions. In such scenarios you will be using this kind of syntax to execute these conditions. If condition for first time is always if you are closing the statement with 60, and again you're printing and something and you're grading it out of a, and you're using multiple elifs. And there is no limit for using elifs, you can use multiple elifs. I'm just executing this. in the subject one you are getting like 20 marks, and in the subject 2 you got 30 marks, and the subject 4 3 you got 40 and 50 and 60. Just click enter. So the percentage is like 200, the total is 200, and 200 is always so with the percentile it got equal, and you are having a grade A. This is the configuration, basically this is that. So again we'll run it and we'll see what if like other scenarios. Let's say everything is 10, so it's grade B. Sum and 100 into 100. Okay, sum by 100 into percentile of the first sum. Okay, so we are printing sum and the percentage. Okay, now we'll be seeing to the next one. Yeah, this is something complicated. We are seeing one of the one
Sorry,
little bit
sorry.
complicated
Bef-
problem. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Before going ahead with this, can you go back to the PEDMAS one?
Yep.
PEDMAS, the one which you are explaining
Okay.
about. Yeah, not this one, the one with ABC, lot of, yeah, that one. Um, I still don't understand line number 10, why the output was reported as 0.
Output was
Reporting as 0, right? Can you run it again? Yeah.
yep.
Yeah. How come the output is reporting 0? I don't understand that part.
So basically, yes. So in the ABC values, while we are executing, so the values got changed, and somehow so let's just clear this out, and we'll do it in a separate way. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Mhm. Just commenting out these lines. Okay. So the output. For better clarity, what we'll be doing is equal to 2 into equal to 4 is equal to
6.
something like 3, 4, something. I'm
Oh,
printing just
let's,
a.
sorry,
Let's do the
let's
same
go
number.
with the previous. No, yeah, let's do with the same numbers, please. 2, 4, 6.
Okay. 246, and the value is 0.
A is 2. Um, Based on PEDMAS, it should be first doing the addition, which is C plus B.
Yep.
That will come down to 10.
Yeah, it should become down to 10 actually. I think I missed something here basically. Mm, okay, so basically we are defining such a way a minus c plus b. So what
Yeah.
here happening is C plus B should be 10, and it should be minus later on. That should be something else. But here it's happening, yet A minus B is also different. Let's give me a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so basically
Mm-hmm.
we are missing one thing called variables. It is getting assigned to the value of A. Okay, so in the
Mm-hmm.
first line, in the so A the value is 2. The
Mm-hmm.
integer value 2 is assigned to the value of A. So
Okay.
it holds something like 2 value. So let's say 2 here. In the first part, what's happening is A minus C. A minus C is 2 minus 6, and 2 minus 6, the answer is minus 4. So the
Okay.
minus 4 and the here B, and it is plus 4. Minus and plus will always get be excluded, and the result is 0. So that
Yeah,
was
but
happening.
why?
So yep. So here is the thing. So the acronym for PEMDAS is always happens when there are parentheses and something which is going starting with the parenthesis, or else the main arithmetic logic goes for this logic called what we say BODMAS. So when
Even
there is
BODMAS,
yeah
even in
BODMAS.
BODMAS, addition is first and then subtraction.
Yeah, so addition is
So
first and later subtraction. But in the print statement, in early print statements, so we are defining we are not defining separately, so we are defining in a single statement. So it is going such a way A minus C, and later on it's just going with a B. Let's do one thing. So
can we
here
do parentheses
V,
just to, yeah.
yes,
Can we do, yeah,
we are just giving the parentheses and we are running it again. If you see it is getting minus 8. As per the
minus 8.
logic, if you are giving minus parentheses, it is picking up first.
Yeah. And let's do the other way, A and C in one parenthesis.
Yep. Yeah, whatever you asked is correct actually. Let's see what happens. It is 0.
Yeah.
Yeah, it expected.
So this is what it is doing. But when we are not putting parentheses, the behavior seems to be
Different.
not as per. Yeah.
Not as per the PAMDAS rule. Okay, let me get back to you on this. Okay, I'll give you a
Sure.
better explanation on this.
Sure.
Yep. I think there is something I missed here. Something. Mm, let's do one thing. Let's put everything on the brackets. Let's see how this behaves. Yeah. Still, if it is in the brackets, it is behaving same. Okay, let's.
Yeah, just initiating a list.
Yeah, we are on the on this calculating amount of. So basically, this is an interest and principal of something amount. So here we have a policy number and policy years and age and city and something of male and female. We are giving something details dynamically to the values. Okay, I'm just running this. So the policy amount is all just we are giving like 2000. We are just playing around in the Python. So we have like conditions and elif conditions, and we are like using conditions, and we are using something uh, like this. Oh, sorry. So basically, one thing I missed. So here in PEMDAS, in in Python, we always do certain things from left to right. There is something difference between arithmetic operations and PEMDAS operations in Python. So that difference is in the PEMDAS. Before we used to do it from right to left. Here we will be following a rule of left to right. Oh, that's the difference that I could see. But yeah, I'll get back to you on this. Okay.
Okay, no worries. Thank you.
Yep. Basically, it should be in the main general arithmetic logic. We'll be following addition and subtraction, and in Python, it should be like subtraction first and addition next in the reverse order. Yep. So this is basic general question. So we are just giving some duration of the policy could be 2 years, and age is something like 18, and you're from village or city. Let's say city, and your male and female, your male, and the interest allocated is 15, and the amount received could be like 2600 as per the conditions. So we are just using conditions, and in the conditions we are giving some values, and we're printing the amount that could be received for a person of this interest rates. We are defining here itself. The main difference is in the before statements we are just using the logic and we are printing something, but by using this logic and using this conditional logics, you can also execute the methods and functionality that are involved with the conditions. This is the main just logic between the both conditional statements. Yeah, what if you want to like use the if condition, if else condition, like in the same line. If you want to decrease the space and if you want to do something like this, you can also write like this. So n1 and n2, n1 value is 100 and n2 value is 20. You are just doing print n1 is greater if the condition is n1 is less than n2, else print n2 is greater. Yes, you are using only if statement of something, and else is here in the same line. If else, the two conditions, you are printing either this or this in the same statement. So it happens here, and it just goes and it sticks. N2 is greater. N2 is greater. Basically, N2 is greater. But the condition is list. Okay, so it is printing this. Yeah, I think you got this statement right. Okay. Yeah, we're going to the topic of list. So list is an array. So basically, when you are using arrays, so let me give you a glance on list. Okay, we are getting into the types of strings. So when there is a character or strings which you can place to a variable, that is called list. So list are different. There are like different type of arrays conditions. So there could be list, tuple, set, and dictionary. So these four types plays a key role in Python. So while you're working in your real life, so and this can be very useful for automation space. So an array can be consist of different type of integer elements, or else mixed elements, or else the collection could be an ordered one, or else indexed. So basically you can have something like this. So here, if you want to create a list, you will be using some variable, or else something, any word, string, or else variable, whatever it could be. So you are defining some integer values, like in the square braces. Square braces is a nomination for list. Whatever you are defining in the square brace, it will be considered as list. So under the list, you can be having some integer elements, or else you can having for mixed elements, like, so here it is a string, and here we have a character. We are also having some real complex numbers, and again we are printing something like mixed data, and it will be printing all the data with a L. So that could be. And here also we are having mixed data and index data basically. So indexing happens. So here this is zero index, and this is one index, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. So indexing always starts with the zero. Always indexing start with the zero. So here what we are doing, the printing of statement of L happening is, so L of 0 and L of 1, 2, 3, 4. So L of index basically this stands for. So here also we are changing L3 value into 42, and we are printing this out. Let's uncomment this. Yep, you can see here. So it got executed as is, you can see. So the L, the first with the integer elements. So list with the integer elements, everything that you placed in the integer elements got executed as list again. So you can see we are having square braces around here. And here you have given the mixed elements, and you have the mixed element output. So with the indexed element, so you can also see the first element is 11. So L of 0, the L of 0, 0 index is 11. Yeah, it's 11. And 0 index of 1 is 22, and it's 22. And list with mutability. So basically the main difference of set and everything. So one condition is mutable, list is also mutable or changeable things. So whatever you are placing into your list as a static value, you are defining it as a static value. In the static value of list, you can change the element. So what here doing is L of 3, index of 3 value is changing into 42. So after the update of changing of L of 3, index of 3 as 42, you can see the data change got changed with 42. So index of 3 changed with 42. L of 0, 1, 2, and the L of 3 is 42. It got changed. And list can also be having duplicate values. So L of 1 and L of 6 having sorry 4 having the same numbers 0 1 2 3 4. Allow 4 having the same numbers 22 and 22, so it will be executed as same. It doesn't remove any duplicates in the list. One of the basic conditions of list. So these are the conditions that if you are running a list command, so list area of string, so you will be having this kind of outputs. So here one of the question is L1 is something like this, L2 is like this. If you're trying to append the values L1 plus L2, what will be your output? So here this could be your output. So L1 is this and L2 is this. You can see the both lists are getting added on side by side, concatenated basically. This condition is called concatenation. So when two lists are trying to add by itself on condition, so L1 plus L2, whether it's a string or real number, whatever it could be on the space of list, it can be appended together using L1 plus L2 directly. So that's called concatenation. Here you can see that two both lists got added here. And also we have one thing called printing of L1 into 5 times and multiplying by 5 times. So if you print L1, so L1 getting 5 times multiplied, printing by 5 times basically. So you can also remove L1 plus L2 here. So if you are trying to print L, so arithmetic operation doesn't happen with this kind of area. The print L is not happening basically. So if I just remove this, never run it again, you will be see type error, unsupported apparent type of L list arithmetic operations are not allowed. What L1 L2, if I do the plus it will concatenate basically, but if you do the subtraction, so arithmetic operation for both the string doesn't happen, so it's just not allowed. So this is an error basically, type error, unsupported operand type. List can be uh, used for arithmetic operations. So we'll go with list slicing. Slicing is basically you're removing some of the part of the output, so that's slicing. Just writing out everything. Yep, as I said, L equals to the index always start with 0 0 1 2 3 4 5. We have 6 elements, and in the first stage I am just printing L of 1 to 6. So 1 to 6 always 0 1 1 2 3 4 5 6. So basically it printed all the away elements to the 6. So this is what happened, and 1 always got gets starts with 1. So basically 0 and 1, it went up to 0. And here also 1 to 5, and it removed Python. And 0 5 it starts with 11 and the 5 elements. And you are in the list, you are just indexing it out and you are slicing it and you are doing it such a way, works like this. In the last statement I just given -2 for backward transferring. So basically the -2 always like it goes from the backward. So the last two elements are getting removed. So basically 0 1 2, it says -2. So the last -2 element is in the output screen. Basically it will add the last whatever we define in the index while transferring. So in the list basically you can also always modify the arrays in the list. or elements in the list basically, and the list consists of duplicate values, and list is always changeable or mutable. So the index the values of elements in list always be changeable, and yeah, these are the properties of list. So is one of the formula, like one of the examples for using a elif statement for finding areas of square, rectangle, and triangle. Yeah, okay, you can also see here like whatever we did earlier is in this. Just practice basically this, slicing and whatever we are doing, slicing with the -2, just give something like -3 and observe the output how that is behaving. If you find something strange, and we can discuss it out. So these are the one examples of inbuilt functionalities. We'll discuss it later. Okay, count methods. Okay. Okay. Yeah. But here, so when we are you working on list, okay, there are like multiple inbuilt functionality that can be worked on list. So if you're like trying to find any length, maximum, minimum of this list, basically you can just directly use a command of max. So this is L of a static element, and you are having an list of 1 2 3 4 5 integers only, and you are printing the value of L, and you are finding the maximum value that is having on the list of L, and the print you are also printing the value minimum value that is minimum of L. So this is the max and min are that commands that can be functional commands that can be used to directly find the output. Yeah, on this one of 5. So maximum of L is 5, yes, the output is 5, and minimum value of L is 1. Yeah, answer is 1. The length always here. So while indexing you will be starting with 0 1 2 3 4, so that's indexing. But while you're counting on length, there will always be like 1 2 3 4 5, so that's the length. So here are other elements. So while you're working on list again, so list what kind of thing. So here we are deciding to give like 1 to 10 elements. So you can use the count functionality. So in the count functionality, counting basically, so when you are having a bulk list, or else something of thousands and something like kind of list elements, you cannot just go randomly and manually count the every element. So we are having count command inbuilt in Python. So these are all the inbuilt commands that are very relevant in Python that can be used for list. So by using count, it can be said like here in the L. So L dot count is the command. So L dot count of 7, whatever the number that you are having with the 7, it is counting again. It will give the output. Well, let's start this. Okay, here there is an error called name is not defined. Basically, here I used a command called del.a, so it got deleted. So in the next space, I have like added a command called c equal to a plus b, where already I have deleted the value of a. So this error is happening. just commenting out this thing and I'm just running it again. Yep, we have an output. Let's go on line by line. So we have, these are direct commands basically, and L equal to some list. And yeah, what we are doing, counting the value of 7 which are in the list. So the 7 of count is 1. Yeah, here we have one count. Yes, it's happening. Yes, a string. So in this a list, you're counting the value of s, and it's getting 2, and the count is happened. Okay, so sometimes if you want to know the index of the element, you know the number, but you don't know index, so you can also directly find the index value. So L dot index of element, and you will be having output of that exact thing. And after that, you can also reverse directly. L dot reverse. So reversing of strings always happen with the list, and this is one of the command directly. And you can also sorting is sort command is a sorting functionality for sorting. So L of 3 and something like this, and you are sorting it in a order. So this is an output. L dot sort slash n, so it is giving the spaces. Slash n is always spacing out between each other. So this is the output 7799, and it is got sorted by descending order. Sorry, ascending order. And the yeah, sort and reverse. And also there is one thing called insert. So insert is a functionality of index. So we are with the index, we are inserting something values of 0 comma 2. So 0 comma 2 is added into the list. Original is this, and yeah, duplicate is this. So in the index, you are adding this value basically. So 2 is added here. Okay, yeah, here it is. So insert always works like the syntax is index comma element. So here you are using index, and this is the value of element in the A list. You are passing this through, and the first element it is guarded with the element. Append, it's add an element to then to an end. Basically appending always works like so whatever you add, it will be adding it on the end. Yeah, so these are the direct commands basically. And you can also use a copy thing, copy a dot copy. So basically uh, copy is an element, like basically you are duplicating the elements which are in the list of a. So whatever you are defined in the first block. So one of that thing. And extend is a command, is same like concatenation, but if you are using a plus, it will concatenate two lists. And if you are using extend, so it works same way. So it will be also adding in the end of the list whatever you defined previously. You can also delete some of the variables in list. So basically del is a command that can be used for deleting. So here directly he gave some index of l, so that got deleted. And so index of l of 1, so it got deleted with value of 1. So that's there. And sorry, l of 2 3, which is that's deleted. Okay. And in the value of so here there are two lists. So a is of this list and b is of b list. And right now, if we want to delete one of the list, it will delete it. And it will just only print the value of something which is existing. So if you are deleting a list, and if you try to do any operation of arithmetic, it will definitely throw an error of something like we seen before in the first execution. So this will be an error. So it says like a is not defined. basically A got deleted, so it's just not defined. Yeah, it's not available basically. So these are the inbuilt commands that are used in list. And we'll be just going to the next topic, tuple. So tuple, while we are working on tuple, the only difference you could see is we are using curve brackets. So it is also having mixed data, and it can be also having duplicate data, and it can be also found with the index. The difference you can see is you cannot add items to these tuple values. When you're trying to add some of the elements to the tuple, it's not mutable. Basically tuples are not mutable. When you're giving something onto the curve braces, it's definitely gonna be not mutable. That's the only difference you can see, and other all the elements and all inbuilt functionalities like type, minimum, max, and index, whatever we are defining, we can find all that working in tuples. For tomorrow, like just work on some elements of list and tuple, try to manipulate the data and change the data, and use inbuilt commands like minimum, max, and count, and whatever we discussed today, and use all the elements, and try to do some examples and come up with something. That will be your assignment today basically. Yeah, use conditions, and try to do a real world scenario, a real world examples, and use conditions, and try to use again, use the list and conditions again, try to do a value, or else I'll post a question on this, I'll give you an assignment on this.
Okay, sure.
So basically, we discussed overall the concept of like list and using arrays, and we also use conditions, and we also use indices and arithmetic conditions, and logical operators, and also the basic concepts of Python. So we'll be deep diving tomorrow on oops concepts, and we'll be also using loops and oops concepts by tomorrow. The main focus is of understanding how loops and oops concepts are worked in our real life. So that will be the main discussion tomorrow, and after that we'll be directly doing something on functions like and something like that. So that's enough for you to learn on automation basis, and we'll be starting on Selenium, so basically the X parts and everything, and we'll go such on that. Any questions here for on this today's class? Any doubts, any questions? Yeah, on that one, like PEMDAS, I'm gonna give you rapid clarity by tomorrow. Yeah, it basically it is happening on a reverse basis. Yep, sure, I can give you clarity on that. Any
No worries.
questions here?
Thank you.
Any questions on today's class? Anything you
I'm good.
didn't
Thank you.
understand?
No, Kalyan. Thank you. It was clear.
Okay, thank you. We can discuss more
Thank you.
on tomorrow. Okay, yeah, bye.
Yes. Thank you for your time. Bye.